Charles Ponzi was flat broke, facing fraud charges in 2 countries, when Boston investors handed him $15 million in a single summer and begged him to take more. That is not the shocking part. The shocking part is that the machine he built in 1920 is running right now, somewhere in the world, and someone you know may already be inside it. 100 years of arrests, headlines, and congressional hearings have not slowed it down by a single day. So what is actually happening inside that machine, and why can't we turn it off? Ponzi was a small-time Italian immigrant with a criminal record and a gift for sounding unshakably confident. His pitch in 1920 centered on international postal reply coupons, paper vouchers used to prepay return postage across borders. He claimed he had found a currency arbitrage loophole, that you could buy these coupons cheaply in Europe and redeem them at a profit in the United States. The idea was just technical enough to sound plausible and just obscure enough that no one could easily disprove it. He promised 50% returns in 90 days. Banks were offering 2% a year. People didn't walk in, they ran. Here is the mechanism stripped to its bones. The operator promises returns no legitimate investment can reliably deliver. Early investors, the very first wave, actually get paid, right on schedule, full amount plus profit. Those people go home and call their friends. Now the second wave arrives, bigger than the first, and their money is used to pay the first wave as they cash out. No business is running. No profit is being generated anywhere. Money is simply moving from the new arrivals to the people who came before them, and the operator quietly schemes a cut the entire time. But here is the flaw baked into the design from the very first day, and it is not subtle. To pay yesterday's investors, you always need more new investors than yesterday. The number doesn't grow steadily. It grows exponentially. Every single cycle demands a bigger crowd than the last. That is not a mistake the operator failed to catch. It is the countdown timer he is racing, and he knows it. When the new money slows, the structure doesn't wobble. It falls in a single night. Ponzi's empire lasted just under a year before investigators started asking where the actual postal coupons were. They weren't there. There weren't enough of them in existence to account for a fraction of what he claimed. He was arrested in August 1920. Investors lost millions. But the blueprint survived him by over a century, and the next operator who picked it up made Ponzi look like a minor leaguer. Bernie Madoff proved the scheme could be made even more durable by doing the one thing Ponzi never tried: being boring. Madoff didn't promise 50% returns. He promised 10 to 12% annually, steady, reliable, almost dull. That modesty was the masterstroke. Wealthy clients, major banks, university endowments, and international charities handed him money precisely because he seemed calm and reasonable. He was a former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Who questions the chairman? The fraud ran for decades, swelling to tens of billions of dollars, and it might have run for decades more, except that the 2008 financial crisis forced too many clients to withdraw at once. The new money dried up overnight. The machine stopped, and only then did the world see what had always been there. But neither Ponzi nor Madoff explains the deepest reason the scheme never stops working. And here's where it gets genuinely unsettling. A Ponzi scheme does not run on greed alone. It runs on trust. The person who brings you in is almost never the operator. It is your neighbor, your cousin, someone from your church who already got paid and cannot stop talking about it. You're not trusting a stranger with a slick brochure. You're trusting someone who looked you in the eye last Sunday. That first real wave of payments is not a mistake or a luxury the operator reluctantly pays. It is the most important engineering in the entire structure. It converts human relationships into an unpaid sales force. And it means that by the time the collapse comes, the people who recruited you are usually victims too. Everyone is waiting on someone else to be last. The operator also protects the machine with deliberate vagueness. The strategy is proprietary. The opportunity is limited. The details are simply too complex to explain plainly. That opacity is not a side effect. It is the product itself. You cannot dismantle a mechanism you're never allowed to fully see. Regulators have said it for decades. If someone promises extraordinary returns and cannot explain in plain language exactly how the money is made, do not hesitate, do not deliberate, walk away immediately. The scheme has surfaced on every continent, in every era, in every language. New versions appear every year dressed in new technology, new jargon, new industries, but the internal mechanism has not changed by a single bolt since 1920. It works for the same reason that line kept stretching around the Boston block more than 100 years ago. We want to believe someone has found the shortcut, the loophole, the quiet genius who spotted what everyone else missed. Money cannot multiply on its own. Somewhere, something real has to generate a return. And if no one will show you what that something is, you are not standing outside the office of a genius. You're the reason the line is so long.